Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Fireside Conversation with Puneet Kaur Kohli. Puneet is a leader in the corporate with over 26 years of experience. Currently, she's the technology head in a company, and she also holds the title of Mrs. India International and Mrs. Inspiration, a true believer of beauty with brains. Not only that, she has recently bagged the lead assessor for ISO 27000 and has also been given the title of Iron Lady. Here we have with us Dr. Puneet Kaur Kohli. Welcome to this session, Puneet.
Thank you, Nandita, for that opportunity. And thank you. Good evening, my viewers, and all the people who are watching me.
So, how are you doing?
I'm very well. Thank you so much.
So, with all these titles, how does it feel to carry beauty, brains, power, exercise? Isn't it a little overwhelming, Puneet?
Overwhelming. It's basically the energy levels when you bag such recognitions as titles. It really gives you a wow feeling. And then every time you benchmark yourself. What next? What is next for you? So
Okay.
there are some mentors you follow, and some of them you make them follow you. So
Mhm.
I think so. A benchmark is, you know, a me time that gives you a good work-life balance.
Wow. Okay. So being such a powerful leader and having people, influencers follow you and you follow influencers, what do you think are some of the 3 to 4 key behaviors or characteristics that a leader needs to have in the post-COVID era? If I can call it a post-COVID era, actually.
So, first of all, you have to be a hybrid and a blended leader. It's the
Okay.
leadership is not about,
Uh-huh.
just putting the controls in place. Definitely
Mhm.
a trust factor in the teams whom you work with your peers, with your teams. It's a true leadership. Then, basically, given a vision where you can think about succession planning for your teams, giving them a roadmap, giving them a vision, envisioning that each of them who's representing in the tech or a technology or any other place I represent has a roadmap what you stood today as a mentor for them. Third, that I always look forward that, like, when it is about not only the equilibrium comes up when it is an equal give and take. It's
True.
about not only as a leader I request my teams to follow me, even I follow them. Reason being, every
Think.
person is born good, right? And if we can
Okay.
acquire those leaderships with them, so I also learn too many things from them. And if it makes a true leadership when you embed what you practice, what you preach, actually.
Okay.
And I
Okay.
really believe in this mantra. The fourth is an acceptability in terms of, at times, having a humbled kind approach, open door policy, transparent culture, but at the same times telling them that how accountabilities have to be managed. Because if I'm the front run to the business or to any other things where I represent as my face goes, so it's not about my face, it's the true leadership. It's like the complete team is behind who has given those deliverables, and then I am basically representing them. So this is what I inculcate on a day-to-day basis in my teams.
Awesome. So I want to pick you up on the last point that you said. I love the word blended leadership. I am going to use it in my sessions going forward, giving you due credit, of course. But I
Thank
pick up
you.
on the last point, Puneet, where you said humble, transparency, open door. Now, these are things or characteristics typically taken as women leaders. Is there a difference between male leaders, women leaders, especially we leading to Women's Day, where we are talking about inclusive leadership? How has your journey been, and what has been your experience? So your views on that.
So I have always represented as a consistent leader on the top. Yes,
Okay.
there was times when I really used to struggle being at the top at being consistent, because something which I used to say to my leadership teams, basically to the the different leaders I have reported into, or some of the
Mhm.
male leaders who have reported into me in last my 26 years of experience. Somewhere I have learned from them, somehow they have learned from me. So as I said in the past, it's an equal give and take. So
Mhm.
being women inclusivity has not been a very easy task for me. But when today
Okay.
we talk about equal, opportunity, employment, and all that stuff, so I would not, give a diverse that like I am all about like women chauvinism, or like, I'm a feminist in terms of that. I believe in, coexistence, because
Awesome.
if women empowerment and the male existence is not there, this ecosystem would be unsustainable. So
Awesome.
coexistence is the mantra which talks about gender equality in all respects. All
Awesome.
respects. It's not about male, female. It's also about all genders should be recognized at equal, at ease, and they all should be recognized together. Then only
Awesome.
it will be a good, ecological balance will be created.
Awesome.
Then the oldest thing, survival of the fittest. Then it's a real Darwin theory. I can say that.
Exactly. I was coming to that. So make it inclusive, not only gender, but also region, religion, caste. Awesome. And then it is survival of the fittest. So leadership, according to you, is not gender dependent. It is more about survival of the fittest. Awesome. So that's a very interesting perspective I've got from you. And I think I've heard Darwinian theory after a very long time. Most people don't use it today. So it's really nice. So Puneet, a word called executive presence is very often used. Leadership presence is something that, as leaders, both men and women, it is imperative that you have that. So what, according to you, are some of the characteristics that define executive presence today?
So, executive presence today is not about based on the leadership for the function that you represent. It doesn't
Mhm.
mean that if I am a tech leader, then I can only talk about technology. It's
Awesome.
about the number game today. So,
Okay.
when entire departments or the verticals that you represent consolidate together, make an organization or make an enterprise to run. When an
Mhm.
enterprise is profitable, then each and every person has their say, because they contribute towards some part of the revenue, right? In terms
Right.
of making an enterprise to sustain for a longer time, right? And when you make it profitable is, when you put your say, you put your word, and there is a business buy-in. And now it talks about inclusivity, it talks about the basically the recognition of being at the top all the time. It's how you make your presence felt, and that this is the need of the hour. And if we are not ready, we have to showcase both the plus and the minus, or the pros and cons, to make our management buy into that. What exactly is the idea, what exactly are you putting it across on the table, has to have a buy-in from the business or the management or the board. If that trust is not being shown by an executive, then you, at a CXO level, you are a failure. You really have to make that presence felt, that idea to be bought. And then probably some figures that you have to see, that next 2 years, 3 years, the roadmap of this thing that I'm putting on the plate, how it is getting digested, how it will be, get carried on, and how the ROI gets achieved. So this is all about number game. It's all about an amalgamation or a convergence of people, process, technology, and data. What we talk about today. Something is tech, something is process, something is the business buy. All together gives you, you can say, not an a la carte, but basically a buffet approach. So when this is a buffet approach, then definitely everybody has a buy-in, and the enterprise really runs. A la carte would never work. A la carte, I mean to say, a siloed approach by one leader or by one executive would never work. It always a convergence and consolidation. And one team which talks about transformation, or talk about how you can have the basically the area of pragmatism, or the words that we use today, in all the ways, transformation or parivartan. That is the need of the hour. That is what even pandemic has taught us, no? In last
Yeah.
10
Very
years is
true.
equivalent to 1 year
Nothing.
or 2 years.
Yeah, nothing is constant. Everything is all about change. And
Yes.
especially in today's world with so much change happening, if you're able to establish your credibility as a leader, I think you don't only have followers, but you have a long way to go, because people do look up, especially in times of crisis, to leaders. So, what has been your journey during COVID times? I know you've won a lot of awards during this time for sure. But what has been your journey in this time to say, how have you been able to handle a crisis as a woman leader?
So it's been my two companies' journeys in like 1 year each with the COVID presence. So the
Hmm.
last organization, the erstwhile organization where I suffered, there was more of into the the lending and disbursements of loans, and basically we were very profitable in launching something like in all online ways. Then in mantras where we talk about in certain disbursement in terms of policy processing and all, so there have been some typical digital innovations which really has created that wow effect in the customer journeys. So not I cannot name a few reason being, but
Sure.
the thing is that it has been taken, like it has changed the way the traditional way of the vertical or the domain that I represented used to work. It transformed the total journeys or the mindset of the people, be it internal consumers or maybe my external customers or even my the agents or probably the other economical or people who are associated with me, with us in the long run, even the vendors ecosystem or the partners ecosystem. They understand what is the need of the hour. So you would also agree the kind of digital innovations that has happened in last 1 or 2 years, it was almost never got implemented in last 1 decade. So that
Yeah.
is why like inclusivity of last year's, like the diversity of the decade recognition which I got from the the global women CI of the year 2020-2021. So it was about the diversity of the decade, that how you have the inclusivity in terms of innovation and how you reached out to the masses. So unless a leader is not able to amass all these amalgamations in which you really want to create a roadmap for your customer centric approach or your employee centric approach, ease of use, ease of convenience is something which you really have to have to go buy, eat, sell, and all that stuff. This is a daily mantra that you really have to do.
So, Puneet, right from professional awards to awards, recognition in the field of beauty pageants to recognition in the field of health. Iron Lady is not an easy thing. I know I see a lot of people going in for these and doesn't happen. So you are a little different from the rest of the leaders that you would see around you. How easy or difficult is it being that different? And what does it mean to you?
So as I said that I don't see myself as a different leader. What is a thing which makes me do something is a benchmark on myself. If somebody
Okay.
else can do, why cannot I? So something is something. The age basically, you have to be young at heart always. That is
Okay.
very true. And
Huh.
the energy, that energy levels that you get, it's only when
Mhm.
you have a good work life balance. You need to have a
Understood.
good work life balance is when you really think that, like, if you are on if you are on toes, you're able to do the work within a rather having a smart approach and not having a a laid back approach. I think so a proactive approach rather than have a reactive approach is something which really gives you an edge over the other leaders. That is something. Secondly, a zeal to do something good. That is something, it's
That I'm
giving
aware of.
everyone a zeal to do everything new every time. So that is something. So I pick up 4 to 5 targets every year. Like last
Okay.
year, I suddenly somebody pushed me into the pageant, and like I said, I'm going to win as it is. So now, being a crown lady, now I carry on, like the makeup sessions and giving life coach sessions to many ladies on the women empowerment. I'm basically I give or probably deliver certain keynote speaking to many of the corporates as a where people or the it's not about ladies, it's even about chuck the India concept. That is what I really want to say, that anybody can do this. And then I pick up one sport every year which really I want to do. So last year I picked up golf. I love golf. It teaches you a lot of
Okay.
patience. So I'm a very big
I
I
cannot
my handicap
relate.
is like 63 in 9 holes. I really love this thing. But now I'm preparing for 18 holes. I really love playing billiards, snooker. I'm really good at it. And then my ultimate aim is to, probably next year would be flying. I definitely, revive my private license pilot license. That's my next year's radar. So let's see how it goes on.
So one thing I can tell all the viewers listening in, I have spoken to Puneet a couple of times before, and if I can say one leader who's a bundle of energy or over energy, it's her. I used to think that I have a lot of energy, and people used to tell me when I met Puneet, I was like, okay, here is somebody who is like, wow. In terms of the energy levels, and you will see her anytime you speak to her, day or night, it's the same energy. So one of the things that I feel as a leader who's able to multitask so beautifully with the work-life balance she's got is the energy levels that she has, and that is phenomenal as a leader because people do get inspired by that. So my last question to you is, what is your advice to young leaders today? Before we go, for all those who are listening in, next Sunday, very soon, we would be bringing a panel discussion of three powerful women leaders who will talk and take a deep dive into these topics to say what exactly is inclusive leadership, what have these women gone through that makes them stand apart, because you've seen Puneet's energy and I'm sure it's very difficult to measure. So what goes into all that, what inspires them, and how can you be the next women leader that the world looks up to? With this, I would like to have your advice on the couple of things that young leaders need to do, irrespective of their gender, to become the next leader the world looks up to.
What the young leaders, I would like to say, the good work life balance is like, don't create,
Yeah.
don't take away the baggage that you have. Make
Mm-hmm.
a blend between your professional and personal life, definitely.
Okay.
Then you are a true leader, because if you are a sole earner in the family and your children look up to you, then you don't
Mhm.
carry that baggage. You have to be as energetic while you're at work. You have to be at home. Keep your worries till your time don't enter your house. Okay. And then at least carry one thing every day at home for your family. Anything. If you are a male, carry something for your family, for your wife especially. And if you're a wife, carry something for your husband. So this is in maintaining a good, good marriage or good work life balance between professional and personal. The
Awesome.
second thing that I would say, young leaders, show trust in your leadership. Have, unless you don't believe in yourself, then you will not be able to create that trust in the other. Have confidence, repeat, do mistakes, and do correct yourself. Everybody does mistakes. Even I have done so many mistakes. Learn from your mistakes and step forward, and create that aura of positivity in you. Irrespective, many things break, people don't listen, don't go, don't get shattered. Just keep on doing your best, and somebody will follow you. Someday it's going to happen. The third thing, what I really would like to say, the positivity is self love. If you have self love, then only you
Mhm.
are able to create selfless love. That's what I want.
That was a
Spreading
powerful
love.
one.
If you love yourself, you're able to spread that love amongst everything. And the language of love is very good. Though I'm also very, very aggressive with many of my partners, people do say that I'm very aggressive. I'm aggressive for the timelines. If they don't meet up their accountabilities, I'm very tough with them. So I love everybody. I'm like a soda bottle. My personality is like a soda bottle. If I get very, very aggressive, very angry, and on my timelines, accountability, discipline, which I don't expect, like, dishonesty, something I don't like. And whether it's walk into my cabin and say that this is not able to be doing, don't keep things to yourself. That is why I create a transparent approach. So try. If you're not able to do, speak up your true sense to your leader, to your peers, that this is not going to be possible. Always think for solutions. Problems are everywhere. The only place you can rest is in the graveyard, where there is
Great.
problems everywhere. Everybody would have listened. But come out as a solution provider rather than creating problems. You should be a person who is facing problems, get a solution first. And then there is no harm in discussing. Your ego would not hurt. Even speak to the lowest in hierarchy in your team. See, I'm
Mhm.
facing this issue. There would be a trust factor. They will feel empowered that my leader has walked up to you, showed interest, how I should cater to this. So it's equal give and take, if I said. So I do this practice. I walked on to the lowest level in my hierarchy. It doesn't mind to me. I can go up to any level. I look up to my MD, I look up to my person who is a data entry operator also. So for me,
Awesome. That
both
was
of them
powerful.
both of them contribute a lot towards my technology or towards my progress wherever I get stuck. So stuck,
Awesome.
there should not be any stuck. That's what I believe.
Awesome. Awesome. So we would come back to a question which even Tuhina mentioned: how aggressive is aggressive when it comes to women leadership? And I want to ask this question not today, but ask all the three panelists, because somewhere we do see a difference in the way aggression, assertiveness, uh, those kind of things, body language, play a very crucial role in executive presence for women. And since this is our month where we are celebrating womanhood, it is important for women leaders to understand what are the lines that they need to draw, wherein they can just be bindas themselves and say, I am like this, you need to change and adapt according to me. So, what are the different views different leaders have come? Here is one person who's talking about inclusiveness. There's another leader who says, I am the way I am, the world needs to adapt. Which is the right style? In the panel discussion, we'll listen to all this and more very soon. Thank you so much, Puneet, for coming in today. It was a pleasure talking to you as always.
Pleasure was all mine indeed. Thank you, Nandita. Thank you, my viewers. Look forward to meet you soon.
Okay, bye bye.